So how do we draw these vectors on the xy coordinate? Okay, it's good to learn these because a lot of times problems are worded in terms of north, south, east, west. Okay, so the x-axis is the east, the north, y-axis is the north. So the A vector is 40 degrees north of west. So this is west here, and then this is south. So 40 degrees north of west. So it's 40 degrees north of west. It's like this. Okay, and let's say the magnitude of all of them is 10. Let's just say they're all, magnitude of all vectors is 10. So vector B will be 40 degrees north of east. 40 degrees north of east. Okay. Vector C will be 40 degrees south of east. Vector D will be 40 degrees south of west. You see how to draw them? 40 degrees south of west. So you go west and then go 40 degrees south of west. And then this one I've switched it. 40 degrees west of north means what? 40 degrees west of north means 40 degrees this way from the north. So it's like this. That's the AE vector. 40 degrees from the north. You see what happened when I switched it? And F is 40 degrees east of north. And ABCDF. G is 40 degrees east of south. All right, it should be a little more there. Let me draw that a little bit better. This one should be a little more. Looks nice, huh? Good. Okay, so let's say if I told you break each vector into its components, how would we do it? Vector A will be equal to what? Okay, 10 cosine of 140, right? In other words, you express, you could do 10 cosine of 1, express its true angle, which is 40 subtracted from 180, right? 10 cosine of 140 I hat plus 10 sine of 140 j hat for vector A. Or the other way of writing it would be what? You could keep it as 40, but you just have to know that it's negative. The x component is negative, right? So the x component is negative. So you could go negative 10 cosine of 40, but the y component of the A vector is positive, right? So positive 10 sine of 40. The y component of the A vector is positive, but its x component is negative because it's in the second quadrant. Okay? So which way, it depends, which way do you prefer? Do you prefer getting the actual angle? Then you don't have to put a negative yourself. If you prefer to know which, which quadrant it is in, then just put the negative yourself. Either way. Vector B will be, that one's going to be easy, right? 10 cosine 40 plus 10 sine 40. What's vector C? 10 cos 40 minus 10 sine 40, right? Or the other way would be to find its true angle, which is what? 320, right? And then if you do the true angle, then you could just simply do 10 cosine of 320 plus 10 sine of 320. So either of these two. And then vector D will be, both components are negative. Negative 10 cos 40, negative 10 sine 40 j hat. The true angle, 10 cosine of what? 220, right? How about vector E? Again, there's two ways. You could either find the true angle of vector E, which is 90 plus 40, right? So that's 130. So you could do 10 cosine of 130 I hat plus 10 sine 130 j hat. And then what would be the second way? The second way would be to say, you know what, I'm just going to use the 40. But the x component of E is going to be sine of 40. Right? So what I'm going to do like this. E is going to be negative 10 sine of 40. The y component of E is going to be positive. So it's going to be positive 10 cosine of 40. That gives you the same answer. Now, of these two, for beginners, this is probably the more simple one. This one takes a little more practice, because if you're not 10 sine 40 plus 10 cos 40, right? How about G here? 10 sine 40 I hat minus 10 cos 40 j hat, or use its true angle, 10 sine of, no, then I would use cosine. 270 plus 40 is 310. And then again, the last one, H. So again, use the one, for beginners, use probably this one now, the 310. And then the H will be 10, negative 10 sine 40 I hat, negative 10 cos 40 j hat. So you have to put in two negatives, and you have to switch the trig functions. Okay? Or you can do 10 cosine of what? 230, right? Subtract 40 from 270. 230 I hat plus 10 sine of 230 j hat. So I wanted to really lay that foundation down and practice those. Now let's do one.